No, this is not a new movie. This is the real thing happening today, and the hope is that what we will learn will one day save the Earth from a catastrophic impact.
NASA successfully conducts its first planetary defense test, and we're going to talk about it. I'm your host, Hyde. This is Hide and Seek Media. Hello, all you beautiful and amazing people. Thank you for tuning in. Welcome to the show. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you get notified anytime I drop a new video. The show is brought to you by the Hide and Seek Media Store. Get the merch link in the description down below. And if you use code 1776, I'll give you 20% off your entire order. So NASA crashes a spacecraft into an asteroid in an attempt to change its trajectory. And the first ever planetary defense test.
What's your contingency plan?
Contingency plan?
Your backup plan. You got to have some kind of backup plan, right?
No, we don't have a backup plan. This is it.
And this is the best that you could, that the government, the U.S. government can come up with? I mean, you're NASA, for crying out loud. You put a man on the moon. You're geniuses. You're the guys that think his shit up. I'm sure you got a team of men sitting around somewhere right now just thinking shit up and somebody backing them up. You tell me you don't have a backup plan?
And they were successful, obviously. Well, my question is why we didn't do this before, right? But what they did was they launched a spacecraft out into space and got it up to about 14,000 miles an hour and then had it hit a smaller asteroid that was orbiting a larger one in an effort to use the kinetic energy to change its trajectory around that larger asteroid.
We will be hitting the smaller of the two asteroids. So it is a binary system. You have the larger one and the smaller one. Our target is the smaller one, to hit the smaller one and redirect its orbit around the bigger one.
Now, while the actual contact with the asteroid was successful, we don't know if the actual trajectory has changed, and we won't know for a few weeks. But my question is, why did we do this now? Why haven't we done this decades ago? Right? While we've only been able to track about 40% of the asteroids that are around Earth, that's still enough for us to be able to find one that we could experiment with and it not affect Earth, right? So the timing of this test is really what sparked my curiosity, right? I thought it was a cool idea, but why hadn't we done this before, right? And why are we using just kinetic energy to start with when we have, other means? And why do we use just a spacecraft and not some kind of explosion, right? To create that kinetic energy, right? So a lot of these things started piquing my curiosity more and more, and I started going down the rabbit hole of why we waited until 2022 to conduct a kinetic planetary defense test when we could have done that decades ago. We've always had the technology to be able to lock onto a specific target and track it to its endpoint. So why we waited until 2022 to try this really started getting me thinking, what does NASA or these elitists, what do they know that we don't know? What is the government keeping from us, right? Do they know something we don't know? Is there an asteroid that is going to hit the planet, and they are now trying to figure out what to do about it?
With the proximity of the asteroid and no prep time, none of our primary plans can work.
Is this going to hit us?
We're efforting that as we speak, sir.
What kind of damage are we?
Damage? Total, sir. It's what we call a global killer. The end of mankind. Doesn't matter where it hits. Nothing would survive, not even bacteria.
I don't know, but I may have some answers. We're going to dig into this a little bit. I'm going to read a couple of articles and we're going to discuss what NASA's real intentions are behind this planetary defense test. So let's get into that first article from the Washington Post. I have it here. NASA crashes spacecraft into asteroid, passing planetary defense test. NASA managed Monday to crash a small spacecraft directly into an asteroid at 14,000 miles per hour, a 14,000 mile per hour collision designed to test whether such a technology could someday be deployed to protect Earth from a potential catastrophic impact.
It may be the clue of what we could do in the future to try to save life here on Earth.
So right there, I'm going to stop because we have much greater means than just sheer kinetic energy. So why we started there kind of boggles my mind a little bit. But let's continue. The violent end of the double asteroid redirection test spacecraft thrilled scientists and engineers at the Johns Hopkins University Applied Physics Laboratory in Laurel, Maryland, which operated the mission under a NASA contract. The asteroid, Dimorpheus, is the size of a stadium, or the Great Pyramid of Giza, as one scientist put it Monday, and is about 7 million miles from Earth at the moment. It orbits a larger asteroid named Didymos. Neither poses a threat to our planet now or anytime in the foreseeable future. This was just a test, NASA's first demonstration of a potential planetary defense technique called a kinetic impactor. The idea is to give the hypothetically dangerous asteroid just enough of a blow to alter its orbital trajectory. Launched last November from California, the spacecraft was small, roughly the size of a vending machine or a golf cart. Dimorphos is rather big, roughly 500 feet or so in diameter, although its precise shape and composition were unknown before the final approach. Scientists anticipated a plume of debris from the asteroid upon impact, but no significant structural change. This is more akin to a bug splattering on a windshield. So, if that's the case, why did we do that? Right? Like, a bug splatter in my windshield isn't going to change the trajectory of my truck. Even if it were on its own without me steering it at all, that one bug isn't going to change the trajectory enough for me not to hit something. Unless you are talking about, which I mean, in this case, the orbit, the thing is 7 million miles away, so any change in its trajectory is really not going to affect the planet. But it got me thinking why we're doing this. And then I remembered hearing about another asteroid that was going to be significantly closer to the planet in a few years. And that got me thinking, are we more worried about that asteroid than we led on to believe?
Asteroids the size of Dimorphos hit the Earth every 20 to 25,000 years. So while astronomers don't see an immediate threat, the Russian explosion underscores the need for a planetary defense system like DART.
I have this story here from Forbes. Exactly 7 years from today, a massive asteroid will get closer to Earth than some of our satellites, should NASA visit it. Now, this article was written April 12th of 2022. So, just a few months ago. Exactly 7 years from today, on April 13th, 2029, the potential hazardous asteroid, PHA, called Apophis, will pass inside the orbits of our geosynchronous satellites. That's our GPS satellites, for those of you who don't know. That's about 23,000 miles from the Earth's surface. Now, imagine this for a second, okay? Come down this rabbit hole with me. Imagine that this Apophis, right, passes by a moon or a planet that has a gravitational field that we don't know about, or pulls it in a direction that changes its trajectory just enough. where by the time it gets here, it hits our planet. And we all, and our scientists and our, elites or whatever, they all know this. And but they come out and say, oh, don't worry. I know other people have seen this asteroid and it's going to get close, but we shouldn't have to worry about it at all because, it's not going to get that close to where it's not going to hit Earth. So we don't have to worry about that. But, in 40 years from that date, it could hit Earth, according to this article. Right? So they go on to write, Apophis is enormous. Discovered in 2005, it's reckoned to be about 1,100 feet in diameter. So twice the size of the one we just hit. That's about as tall as the Empire State Building in Manhattan, New York. It's reckoned that an asteroid as big as that, coming as close to Earth as Apophis will, is a 1 in 1,000 years event. Apophis isn't going to strike our planet on April 13th, 2029, but scientists think that the effect on it of the close pass could be to alter its trajectory, and dangerously so. It's possible that Earth swing by could put it on an Earth resonant impact trajectory that come 2060 or 2068. NASA doubts that, but given Apophis just might cause a catastrophe in 40 years, should we use the 2029 close shave to find out more about it? Well, I say yes. We need to find out more about this now. Let's not wait till 2029, right? Because we need to know, is this actually going to hit the planet, or are they correct and it's going to just pass by? I mean, passing by inside our GPS satellites orbits is scary enough. But if they're wrong, if their calculations are wrong, this could hit the planet.
It's an asteroid, sir.
How big are we talking?
Sir, our best estimate is 97.6 billion.
It's the size of Texas, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
Dan, we didn't see this thing coming?
Well, our object collision budget's $1 million. That allows us to track about 3% of the sky. And begging your pardon, sir, but it's a big-ass sky.
And it could be a reason why you have places like the World Economic Forum talking about what they see the world to be like in 2030. Because maybe they are under the impression, for some reason or another, that this catastrophic event will happen in 2029 and that we need to be prepared. I found this from the World Economic Forum, put out in 2016. 8 predictions for the world in 2030. So they go on to talk about Donald Trump and Brexit and all that. But here, all products will have become services. I don't own anything. I don't own a car. I don't own a house. I don't own any appliances or any clothes, writes Danish MP Ida Auken. Shopping is a distant memory of the city of 2030, whose inhabitants have cracked clean energy and borrow what they need on demand. Maybe because there's not enough to go around. Because some catastrophic event happened. I don't know. 2, there is a global price on carbon. China took the lead in 2017 with a market for trading the right to emit a ton of CO2, setting the world on a path towards a single carbon price and a powerful incentive to ditch fossil fuels, predicts Jane Burston, head of the climate and environment at the UK's National Physical Laboratory. So in other words, don't use fossil fuels because we're going to need them in the future. U.S. dominance is over. We have a handful of global powers. We're already there. We can see that with China and Russia. Okay? Farewell, hospital. Hello, homespital. In other words, you won't need to go to a hospital because doctors will come to you, or they'll be able to grow organs and in robotic tubes and bioprint them and just bring you whatever you need. Surgeon will come to you, bring you an organ freshly grown to replace the one you need to replace. We are eating much less meat. Maybe because there's no more meat. There's no more cows or pigs or chickens or any of that because they're all dead. Because nuclear winter hit the earth when that asteroid did. I'm just saying. Maybe these global elites are onto something, right? Today's Syrian refugees, 2030 CEOs. I don't know how far that one really plays into the asteroid or whatever, but the values that built the West will have been tested to the breaking point. We're there already. Okay? They're about 7 years early on that one because you can see it all over Western Europe and in the United States. These woke ideas have taken hold. Climate control and gender identity and all of these other woke ideas have spread so far now that Western values are crumbling. By 2030, we'll be ready to move humans to the red planet. Is it because we'll have no choice? Is this Apophis going to hit the planet? And they're just kind of shining everybody on so there's not mass panic and hoarding going on for the next 7 years. I don't know. It's possible. I mean, it's very possible that that's why Bill Gates and Klaus Schwab and all of these other global elites are talking about climate change and saving fossil fuel and not using fossil fuels, not because they want to save the planet. They know the planet's doomed. They need to save the fossil fuels for when that happens, and they need fuel to warm the underground cities and things of that nature. So to me, I'm not saying this is what it is, right? I'm not saying that's a reality. What I'm saying is it's a possibility. I don't know that these guys don't know that information. I don't know that the government isn't hiding something from us. And then at the end of the day, they have all of these precautions already in place, all of these fail safes. And the reason they keep us in the dark is so that there isn't mass panic and mass hoarding and an exodus of life as we know it, right? And society as we know it. I don't know. It's a possibility. Let me know what you think. Am I crazy? Am I going off the rails? Is this a crazy conspiracy? Is this too much? Or do you think it's a possibility that all of these global elites and these, governments know the end is coming and are preparing for it? That's why we need digital currency, because we're not going to be able to print paper currency anymore because all the trees are going to be gone, right? I don't know. It's a possibility. But like I said, let me know what you think. I'm going to leave it there. If you've made it all the way to the end of the video, I appreciate you watching. It really does mean a lot to me that you've made it this far. If you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you get notified anytime I drop a new video. Smash that like button. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about this video, the topic, and the channel. I love to engage with my viewers, so feel free to fire away. But the best thing you guys could do if you want to help this channel grow is hit that share button and share this video on all social media platforms. Those interactions will show YouTube's algorithm that my video needs more impressions, and that's how we grow. I appreciate everything you guys are doing, and I will catch you guys later. Peace.